All right, what's up, guys? How's it going? It's Crypto Manny here, and I'm here to talk to you about the Bitcoin supercycle. So, in order to first understand the supercycle, I kind of have to understand the emotional cycle of the market. Okay, so the emotional cycle of the market works like this: we go through these cycles where it's going down, up, down, and then down. Right? So we have disbelief, hope, optimism, belief, thrill, euphoria, complacency, anxiety, denial, panic, capitulation, anger, depression, and then disbelief. And it kind of continues going through that cycle. So I'm going to break down for you guys how I think that we're going to be in a super cycle in terms of cryptocurrency and Bitcoin. So let's take a look at the Bitcoin chart. We're going to use the BLX for this one. And I'm going to erase everything I have on it. I'm going to do a quick play in terms of everything that's going on, and then kind of show you guys what I'm seeing in the market. So here we have a daily cycle in terms of everything that we got. Let's go back to this right here. Go back to the beginning, and this is the first cycle that we have where we can see where Bitcoin does this bull cycle. Okay, so this is 2013. And then here we go. Here's our first bull cycle. Okay. So from here, what we have is we have a bull cycle where we go from our high to low. Okay. And this entire move, we have roughly about, so I go from the, I actually put this on a weekly, so I make this completely easy. Boom. Okay, there we go. So you can see that we're on a weekly here. Here's the top of our cycle. Here's the bottom of our cycle. And we have roughly about a 98% retracement, 93% retracement that happened here. You can see when as soon as it goes down, it comes up, and then we see it continue going down. So from here, this is now going up towards, what we have is a halving that happens. The halving happens right about at this point here. And then we have this point where this is what I'm talking about in terms of a super cycle. That here's our all-time highs. So let me show you that how this works. You go from this high to this low, and now this is our 786, 886. And here's our 4618 of this cycle. Okay. So as soon as it gets into the 4618, it blows past it, comes up, and then wicks down and kind of holds at this 200% level, or the 2618. And then from there, if we're going to look at like what's the top of this level, let's use 1618, 2618, 3618, and 4618. And this is kind of like our TPs, okay, from this bottom to that. Okay, so this is what I mean by super cycle, is that, let me drop down into, me go to replay mode. We're in a weekly. Let's drop down into the daily. Okay. And when I bring this chart, and you can see in terms of the way it's moving from here. So let's bring this chart here. There we go. And extend it. And there we go. So we can see what we go through here from this cycle is we got disbelief, hope, optimism, belief, thrill, euphoria. And this euphoric state is where people really start thinking, I'm a genius. I bought Bitcoin at a bottom. It's $161. Okay. Now, as I continue replaying, it continues going up. And in a matter of days, it recycles down. So you can see like this, and then continuation downwards. Okay. And then this is where you got complacency. Complacency hasn't happened yet. Complacency is kind of like on your retest. So here's complacency right. So let me show you guys. So I get this right here. Complacency is right here. When you see it fail at this 50% 618 level, right over here. So, okay. So that's complacency, and it goes into anxiety, denial, right? So from here to here, what we're looking at is anxiety and denial. It should now only go towards 50%, 618, or the 786, 886 level of this 2013 candle. So here's what we're looking at from the top to bottom, right? And let's press play. Comes up, comes down, starts fooling around here. And you can see, so let me speed this up. Okay, so it holds that position right there, which is a 786, 886, which is you're looking at this entire move from the bottom up to the top. This is a 786, 886 retracement. So this is all within the year of 2013. Okay, and so what I'm talking about super cycle is that this actually went through this one cycle in a year. And I'm anticipating what I'm looking at Bitcoin as right now is that we have a potential where it can do this. Now, if you go from the bottom here, so let's go with price range. So the bottom here to the top here, that's roughly about 4,000%. Okay. So let's go to the weekly, print some more candles on this weekly time frame. So now, if I want to have the extensions here, I'm going to go from this top to this bottom, but I'm actually going to go from, on this weekly time frame, actually go from this top. So now my extensions are here. And this is what I mean by it normally will blow past extensions. So let's use this top because this is probably a bit more accurate. Yep. Okay. So we're 1618, which is 392. We got our 2618, which is 600. We got our 3618, which is 800, and then we got our 4618. Okay. So from here, what we can see happen is that let's print our weekly candles. So on a daily level, what we have is another market cycle continuing. All right. So on a macro level, what we have is we have a disbelief, right? This is not the real rally. Hope, optimism, and then we got belief through euphoria. Belief through euphoria, right? And you can see it does the exact same thing where we're now looking at it from here to here. And so from this last low to this high, we got roughly about a 50% 618 level. And then it prints more candles up. So what you're going to see is that from here to here, it should go into complacency. So complacency looks a lot like where it's going to reject right about here. So let's see. And you can see in terms of that was complacency. So that was in there in terms of this was this right here. So what we can see is that this was a second cycle within the same year. So this cycle that we're looking at was potentially from this all the way up, which was another 49,000%. So no, that doesn't make sense. So let's go from this $27, and it's roughly about 4,000%. And let me even this out because clearly that's 4,000%. Oh, that's why. So go back to this bottom. There we go, $7.67. This is 4,100. This is 15,000%. Okay. So when we're looking at the full move, this was one move, one market cycle. This was the macro cycle. So now potentially what we have going on in terms of where we're currently at is that if you look at this in this current cycle, the former all-time high was right here, and it came right above and then came down and tested. Okay. And this was from roughly about October, November, December, January, February, March. And it made these quick moves. Like it just kept on going up, then came down, came up, came down, came up, and consolidated here, and then shot up. Okay. So when we're looking at the BLX here of where it currently is, right? We have the same type of movement where we have this high to this low. Okay. We have our 1618, 2618, 3618, and 4618. Okay. And what we could potentially see is it get right into the 4618, surpass it, wick into roughly about here, and then come down. And now, so where I'm getting these numbers from is that if you just go from this, which was the COVID low, to roughly about, let's just say that you get 4,000%, okay? 4,000% is only bringing us to 173,000, right? Which would mimic this right here that happened down in these levels here, okay? And now let's say that was to happen. Now what we'd be looking at is a retracement from 50%, 618, and then 786, 886. So, which is as low as 39, and it would bring us all the way down to potentially 22. Now, if you see this happening, I would suggest that you start running. And what I mean by running is that running and getting some more money in the market, because this will probably be the last time that you ever see it get to that point. Because if you look right here, right, we dropped all the way down there, we came back up, we showed support, came back down, one more, swept the lows of this, and then took off, right? So if we're looking at the same thing from an angle that we could potentially do this, it would hurt the most amount of people by doing this, which that's what the market wants to do. It wants to hurt the sellers and the buyers at the same time. So it's not looking to just kind of just be good with one person. It's looking to do this all to everyone. So we could potentially see this market within the next couple of weeks shoot up to about here, which is 127, 180,000, come down, wick up into roughly about this level here, or just a bit higher, come down, wick, show us one more test at 40, 35 to 20, and then take off. And now, so this is now a theory that this is where we're in a super cycle. So if we're in the super cycle, what we would see is a continuation play going into the end of the year, where we could potentially see, which that other cycle was 15,000% from that low. All right, 15,000%. And that would be now the super cycle, where we have one mini cycle, emotional cycle that's happening, and in the middle of this emotional cycle that's happening, we're really just getting into disbelief and then taking off into hope, optimism, belief, thrill, euphoria. And the reason why I think that we're still in disbelief is because the way people are talking about Bitcoin right now, if you listen to anyone just talk about it, some people believe that it's going to just make it up to here and continue downwards. Some people are saying that the bull market's done. There's no euphoric state, and the euphoric state looks like it's about to come based off of the way this is going. And for all we know, it could just continue going up, not do any of the retracement patterns, just continue up. So we'll see what happens over the next couple coming weeks to kind of really keep track of what Bitcoin's doing, because of the fact that we could be going into the super cycle, which means that we could see this go bump all the way up to here, which is 600,000, or it can just be going into a normal cycle, which the normal cycle of the market was this right here. Like this 20,000 was a normal cycle. And like we could be looking for more than that. I mean, you should, because now here was your bottom. So we go from here to up here, right? And that's from one low to one high, which is only 2,000%. Now, when I accurately actually go from the previous low of the market, and let's go to a weekly time frame. And when you go to a weekly time frame, you just get less candles. And when you get less candles, you get to see more about what's really going on. So like this would actually be your low of this market, right? And if that's the low of this market, then the top of that was roughly about 12,000%, right? So now if we go from the low of this market, right, this was only right here. And from here to here is only 4,000. So if we have one cycle that's taken us 11,000%, right, 15,000%, 12,000%, there should be no reason why this cycle shouldn't take us at least between, even if it went to 10,000%, you're still hitting a 400K. But I honestly think the 600 is going to end up happening. And the other reason why I think that's going to happen is because of the retracement down. So the retracement down, 90% from 600. So that's 85%, takes us right back down to like roughly about here. So, which I think that might be what's going to happen between 2023 and 2023 and 2023. So 2022 and 2023. So let's make this right here till 2022. And then I think that 90% retracement will be all of 2022. So what we would see is that we have a top, and now it starts heading down to the bottom, or this 86% retracement would now take us right to here, which would be roughly about $80,000. So this goes back into the fact that like right now we could potentially see up, down, circulating, and these could be the last times that we're getting Bitcoin at this price before the super cycle consists and happens. And when that happens in the market, then we're going to see a parabolic rise all the way up to here, which would be now, if you're looking at the chart from a weekly, and this is what I mean by there's two different cycles going on. There's an intraday level and a macro level. When you look at it from a weekly, we are just getting into this depression and disbelief, right? Like when you look at it like this versus looking at it at a daily. So that's what I mean from a macro level and a daily level. This is two different charts going on. On a daily level, like it looks like it's about to hit euphoric states. But on a macro level, it looks like we're just getting started and we haven't pulled back yet. Like there hasn't been any real pullbacks. Like this is disbelief. So if this was to come up to here and then come down to here, that would be disbelief. This rally is going to fail like the others, right? And that's what everyone's saying right now, that this rally is going to fail like the others. Then hope is recovery is possible when they start seeing it now come up and make these new highs. Oh, maybe this rally is not like the others. Optimism comes out. This rally's actually real. And then belief through euphoria is all in here. That's my projection in terms of where I see Bitcoin and its super cycle. Do your own research in terms of where we're going with it. At the end of the day, I'm not a financial advisor. I'm just doing this merely for fun and more just giving you guys what I see happening in the market. But stay safe, stay humble, and let the gains come to you. Peace.